everyone, and welcome back to our journey to ancient Egypt. Today we will be studying games, sports, as well as leisure. Those are some interesting aspects of life at the time of pharaohs, isn't it? First of all, even if life was very different back then, Egyptian children were like all children in the world. They had toys to play with, and they were made from wood or clay. These included dolls, toy animals, and toy soldiers. Balls were made of leather or linen wrapped tightly together. But children were not the only ones who liked to play. Adults did enjoy having some recreational time too. And as we can see, that it was because it all started very early in people's lives. Egyptians who were very hard workers spent a great deal of time outdoors from their birth onwards. Artwork and inscriptions, as well as letters, provide examples of children playing in the yard or the street, or playing games outdoors from an early age. A healthy childhood was seen as a path towards becoming a healthy and productive adult member of the community. Athletic and physical fitness formed an integral part of the lives of Egyptians of any age. Sports are a part of the king's coronation celebrations of military victories, religious ceremonies and festivals, while games were obviously a popular pastime, judging from the number of board games found and how frequently they appear in the artwork. One of the most famous board games was Senet, which has been shown being played by people and the gods in the afterlife. It is thought that the game mirrored one's journey through life towards eternity. Egyptian children also played with toys, and many other games are still enjoyed by young people in the present day. Boys and girls did not play together, and their different sports reflected the values expected of each gender. Boys are frequently seen wrestling, rowing, boxing, or playing competitive team sports like field hockey, while girls are depicted juggling, engaging in gymnastics and gymnastic dance. Girls and boys were taught to swim at an early age, and both are depicted at this sport and in boating, which is not surprising given how important the Nile and its waters was to ancient Egyptians. Many of the toys of young Egyptian boys and girls were similar to today's action figures and dolls. Egyptologists believe that young children played with dolls in cradles, animals, toys, including crocodiles with removable jaws, puppets including dancing giraffes, rattles and tops, and miniature weapons. They also played with figures of women and men, which are made of wood or clay. As ever, games reflected what mattered to people at the time. Pets were popular, and as we can understand, wild dogs often inspired toys reflecting the value that they had for people. They also featured in a board game known as Hounds and Jackals, which was popular during the Middle Kingdom of Egypt 1782 BCE. The game was played on an ornate wooden board of 58 holes using plain pieces of pointed wood with dog or jackal heads. Archaeologists believe that the purpose of the game may have been to capture the opposite side's piece while advancing one's own. We talked earlier about the very popular Senet, which dates from the early dynastic period, approximately between 2150 BCE and 2113 BCE, and remaining popular throughout Egypt's history. Senet was a game for two players who faced each other across the board of 30 squares using 5 or 7 game pieces. The objective seems to have been to move all one's pieces to the opponent's end of the board, and while preventing them from doing the same. The game is depicted in artwork from the New Kingdom showing royalty playing Senet, one of the most famous examples being Queen Nefertari, the wife of Pharaoh Ramses II, 1255 BCE, as she was seen on a painting decorating her tomb. Senet boards have been found in royal tombs from the early dynasty period. Throughout the late period, ancient Egypt, 525–332 BCE, and in regions beyond Egypt's borders, attesting to its popularity from the New Kingdom on, it was considered a representation of one's journey from life to eternity, as evidenced by text inscription engraved on actual game boards. We can even find it in the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Besides enjoying board game, ancient Egyptians were also very keen on the more physical pursuits of sport. The gods weren't forgotten and took part of sports matches, athletics, as these were often included in religious ceremonies and festivals. Participants would stage block battles between the followers of Horus and Set to commemorate the victory of Horus and the triumph of Order of Chaos. These plays would have incorporated many of the sports Egyptians played on a regular basis. Some of the most popular sports were fishing, rowing, javelin throwing, boxing, wrestling, weightlifting, and gymnastics. The most frequent played team sport was field hockey, and a game like tug of the war played with a hoop. Archery was also popular, but mainly associated with the nobility and royalty. Amenhotep II, 1425–1400 BCE, was an excellent archer who apparently able to shoot an arrow through a solid copper target while mounted in a chariot. Ramses II, 1279–1213 BCE, was also known as a skilled archer and hunter who kept himself physically fit throughout his very long life. Physical fitness was considered so important for a pharaoh that part of his Hebsed festival, held after the first 30 years of a king's reign to rejuvenate him, focused on his ability to run a course and engage in different tasks along the way, including his skill in archery. Princes were encouraged to exercise regularly, especially in the New Kingdom, because they were expected to lead an army into a battle. Regardless of whether the primary purpose of sports and games was leisure, physical fitness or martial abilities, we can see that these activities were of primary importance to ancient Egyptians. Like us, they relished the opportunity to exercise and to have a welcome distraction from everyday routine. We all like to have some good time playing sports, don't we everyone? So, bye-bye.